Hey, you guys.
Hi.
Hello.
So I have three fantastic, beautiful, talented women with me today. We'll start with Ruthie. Why don't you guys just introduce yourself? Kind of go down the couch. And Emily's joining us. The dog. All the dogs are here.
It's like very furry little podcast time.
Please excuse barking and whatever else may come out of these dogs.
All the snuggles.
Well, I'm Ruthie Collins.
Hey, Ruthie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, so all three of you guys have your own vibe, which is really cool. You're all very unique in your own way, but then y'all come together for this tour that I want to hear all about. So, Natalie Stovall.
I'm Natalie Stovall. Yeah, we're all very different artists. It's not a band, it is a tour. I appreciate you saying that. We get asked that question first off, so I'll just go ahead and clear that up. And so, yes, I'm Natalie.
Yeah, and I'm Kelleigh Bannen, and it was Natalie's idea, really. It was her vision, kind of how to team up and join forces and kind of create a story that's bigger than any one of us individually.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the idea.
It's like an old school mentality when
It's
everybody
called Three Girls Rock a Bar.
rock into a bar. Yeah.
Three girls rock into a bar.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
William Morris thought they were super hilarious when they came up with it. They were like, what about three girls rocking to a bar?
It's like,
okay.
Well, and it's funny because we had been toying around with different ideas and what to call it, and that was absolutely the best of anything we had come up with.
We were kind of just like, as long as it's not ladies' night.
Right, I know. As long as it's not girls' night out.
Girls' night out.
So tell me how you guys became, well, you're all linked up with CMT, right?
Yes.
That whole Next Women of Country
Yes,
Music.
we've all been named as that.
That's so cool. Let's talk about that first and then get into the tour. How did that get going and how did y'all get linked up with it? You just, Ruthie, sorry I was about to call you Natalie.
That's okay.
You just debuted your song on CMT, Dear Dolly.
Yeah, but Dear Dolly's a song I actually wrote with Natalie here.
I
and
know.
Jessica Redcap, and we made a music video for it that just premiered a couple weeks ago at CMT, so that was really cool. It was my first one ever.
Oh, it was?
Oh yeah, I've never had a music video.
Yeah, this was
This
her
is your
first
first
video on
music
CMT.
You know what? That is such a fitting. I'm so glad.
I know.
That's
Isn't it
like
amazing?
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's beautiful too. Did you see
Yes,
it?
it's so
like
pretty.
That shot of you when I texted you right after it came out, but that shot of you when you're like in the ball gown and you're sitting on the floor in the dressing room with the records. It's like sexy and classic, and I love that shot. It's so pretty.
And what do you say your vintage meets
Country.
Country, okay, because you got that vintage vibe. You travel around an Airstream named Amelia. So we're just gonna start with you, Ruthie. How did you get this vintage vibe? And how did you get into music?
So I've been singing since I was 3. I actually grew up playing piano and I will call it violin.
Yeah.
I never really mastered the fiddle. All three of us.
We all play violin.
Yeah.
It's
Natalie does
crazy.
fiddle and Kelleigh does violin. That's is fiddle
Yeah.
violin.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
it is. I
It's
just
just like
did it
the
in classical
style
too.
of playing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was never good at the double stop, so I'm gonna say violin. But
You guys totally are together because you all play violin.
and somehow we have not done it on stage yet, but we
We
can
talked
do
about
it.
it.
We have, yeah.
We have to bust out that.
It's hard when
concerto.
there's someone who's so
So
well
good.
known for it and so ridiculously good at it. Like, I don't want to tell anyone I play violin when I'm around Natalie. Like, no, it'd be like me being like,
really the biggest issue is that we've just never taken the time, like we've never rehearsed
We've never
it together.
had the
'Cause
time, yeah.
We started
we
playing
did
one
play
day
the
in a
Bach
hotel
double or
room.
something.
Yeah.
We had,
But yeah,
that was
and
funny.
Ruthie just wasn't even in the
We
room
weren't
yet.
there yet,
But,
but
The fact that y'all all three play violin and you're on tour together, y'all have to play
We have to.
violin on
We
stage
have
together.
to.
We
at some
actually
point.
one night we kind of got drunk and we were brainstorming. It was when the big snowstorm was last spring or like January.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we thought it was so hilarious. We had this idea of like, what if like we pretended that Natalie like taught us how to play.
Because that's been my dream with you for
I know,
like
we've
10
talked
years.
about that
We
forever.
like dig into it and be like, wait, holy
Like
cow.
Mississippi hot dog.
Yeah.
You know the twinkle
Da, da,
twinkle
da, da,
little
da,
star.
yeah,
Which is how we all started
Teach
out.
us, and then we
learning.
just like bust into this like Vivaldi.
We thought that would in our like too many red wine state. We thought that would be super hilarious, and then I think we were like, that would be so dorky. But
I'm into it. I'm so
Something has to happen with this violin. The fact that you guys all naturally gravitated towards each other to form a tour and you play violin, I mean, that's kind of,
weird.
that's a little
I know.
weird.
Eventually that'll happen.
Yeah.
We'll make sure it does.
Okay, so Ruthie's song premiered on CMT, Dear Dolly, wrote it with Natalie, also plays violin, love that. Got the vintage classic going on.
Yeah.
Tell me about your journey into music. And are you with Curb?
I am.
Okay,
Yep,
Curb
I'm on
Records.
Curb Records. And I guess like the vintage thing, I'm not exactly sure when that happened, but I grew up in a family where the women in my family just are really all about the vintage lifestyle. It's very like farmhouse chic, everything antique-y. We pass down the furniture and the linens and the recipes, and it's all women all the time. There's 2 boys in my family now.
There has to be one, at least.
Well, my dad. But there aren't any kids. You know, there was never any male kids. So it's just something that I was sort of raised with that mentality. And then you know how it is when you grow up and you're in your 20s, and then all of a sudden you realize that your parents were right about everything. I felt like all of a sudden I just kind of became my mom, and all of those things that I was raised with suddenly became so important to me. And I always wondered if maybe that was because I moved far away, and it's kind of a way that I can feel close to them. But
So where are you from?
I'm from Buffalo, New York. It's actually a little tiny town called Fredonia right on Lake Erie. So I grew up on a vineyard. We do Concord wine mostly, but
Heck yeah.
yes.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Concord grapes.
Concord
Those are my
grapes.
passion.
Yeah,
That's your
yeah,
passion.
Oh
That's
my
your spirit
gosh, that's like
animal.
my favorite.
Really?
That's
I can
my
hook it up.
favorite fruit.
Whatever
Yes.
you want, like juice,
Are you joking me?
jelly. No, it's all
Okay.
Concord and Niagara
Oh my
grapes. Yeah, it's
gosh.
super sweet, but it's really good. And fun known fact, you're not supposed to eat
The
them.
skins.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
supposed to pop them.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed
Oh,
to
you're
chew
not supposed
them.
to touch the skin at all.
No,
to your-
you can. Well, I mean, I don't think you're gonna die, but
Oh,
you
they're
can
not-
just
it's kinda
pop
poisonous?
the skin.
You kind of, yeah, that's what
Well,
I do.
mean,
I kind
if
of
you're-
pop the skin,
pop the
and then
skin
you
out,
like,
and then you swallow the inside. It's like this mushy thing. You're not supposed to chew them ever.
Weird.
yeah,
Who
they're
knew?
so good
I had
though.
no
They're the
idea.
best.
Delicious,
Alright.
a little bit tart. Yeah.
Mhm.
Love that.
Crazy.
Okay.
So yeah, I moved to Nashville as soon as I could.
Who was musical in your family?
My
Where did-
mom.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But all of my sisters played something, which is why
And you
I
play
think-
stand-up bass too?
No.
Oh, why did I
But
read
that would be
You
so
said something-
hot.
I
I
only
think-
have stand-up bass on my recordings and in my band.
Okay, you just
So,
have it a part of
yeah.
your.
I try to keep everything really classic country. So
Okay.
So she compromises a lot when she's on the road and my band's playing.
there are 2 electric guitar players in this band. I have 0.
We try so hard to be as
No,
like
they're
acoustic
wonderful.
and toned down.
They're
like,
wonderful.
from our
but it
crazy.
is very different for me. But it's fun. That's why it's so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I don't know. I love vintage everything, like vintage clothes. I've got this Airstream I renovated a couple years ago.
Do you actually like live in it when you're on the road?
No, we use it as like a performance lounge.
Okay.
So we did a radio tour in it. We set it up to be like a stage in the front, and there's
Cool.
like a church
Isn't that awesome?
pew.
Love that.
It is
Vintage
the
theater
coolest.
seats.
It's like you walk into it and you feel like you're in a magazine.
It's very nostalgic.
I love
ridiculous.
We
that.
actually just had like a surprise birthday party for my friend, and the other night it was the first time we like hosted like just a
Super
friend
fun.
bash in the
Yeah.
Airstream. Was really fun.
How many
So-
people can party in there?
I mean, like comfortably like 12. But
Nice.
I've fit 17 in a camera crew.
Oh,
in there
all right.
before, so-
Okay. Go Amelia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, she's real cool. So, yeah, and just try to keep that vintage thread in the music and just the, look and everything super consistent because I don't know, I just love it and it feels true to who I am and
I think that's the key.
it's, yeah.
I think, and I kind of feel like all of you
We
ladies are that
texted
way.
a little bit about that.
Being
you know.
authentic. Like, you get into Nashville and like it's very easy to start getting overwhelmed with all the different types of roads you could go down. But I think authenticity wins at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
And it's hard
Yes.
to know. It takes a while to
Yeah.
figure out what is authentic to you because it's like in music, you love so many different kinds
True.
of music. And you're like, well, I could go that way, and it's Tuesday, so that shirt feels right.
Right.
So
And it's Tuesday.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
hard to mold yourself into, and they really, sometimes record labels want you to be molded into a very tiny little box, So it's interesting, that process, I think, is really difficult.
Have you had to fight against your record label, or have they worked with you? Because
My-
vintage country isn't totally the norm, right?
Sure. Well, and also I have to caveat with I grew up listening to pop radio.
Okay.
So my melodies come out extremely pop. So because of that, my record label not so much. They kind of just let me explore it until they felt like I found it, and then they were like, "Oh, okay, here we go."
That's awesome.
But a lot of producers that I worked with really pushed me in a super poppy direction because that's what's really like working right now on radio, and also the songs were so pop.
Right.
And it took a really long time, and Jim Ed Norman at Curb really helped me explore that, and a couple producers here and there kind of picked up on it a little bit, but then it was interesting. It was like the more electronic it is, the worse it sounds. The worse I sound.
For
Right,
you, the
for
more
you.
it doesn't sound like Ruthie when that
I
happens.
start
Yeah.
singing different, and it's not. It
Oh,
loses that.
interesting.
Yeah, so we kind of figured out that the more organic and rootsy and country it is, no matter how much the melodies are pop, the more it suits my voice and just what I'm trying to do. So that is the caveat. It's very country, and I sing very country, and then the instrumentation of the production is very country, but we do have these like very poppy melodies and poppy like, even, drum programming in there.
So you're a
So we're
little
kind of
hybrid.
fusing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's where the vintage and modern
come together.
meet.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Natalie, you and I met because I was your radio regional.
Oh my gosh, I forget about that.
Which is the craziest thing that you were actually my radio
But you know
girl.
what? That is so this town.
Yeah.
It is.
Because it's like no matter, I mean, are you still singing?
No, I've
I'm not-
retired.
You're retired?
I've retired
Well, for
from
now.
singing.
But it's like,
for truly
for
forever.
now.
I really, it's not my passion. Like,
Okay.
I'll tell you all the story.
Okay,
after
please.
that, but-
Yeah.
But I just think that
Yeah.
it's so this town that's like, one, it takes so many different jobs to make it, like, keep it afloat while you're
Yes.
making your way, that like, it's so not surprising to me that like that's how you guys met.
Yeah.
You're both artists.
Well,
and-
we first met, we played a show together when you were in Stealing
Yes.
Angels. But that was just a very brief thing, and you know
That was
my
it.
older
I love
brother.
this bar
Like,
in
yes,
Toby
yeah,
Keith's.
one of those Toby Keith bars in
That's hilarious.
Auburn, Michigan. But then we didn't actually get to know each other until
you came to Hit Shop Records.
Hit
I'll
Shop
never forget when I saw you play. You rocked that stage. I mean,
Aw.
Skip Bishop, our record label president, took me, and it was literally, he's like, your mind's gonna be blown. I was like, okay, I'm jaded. I'm so jaded from this town,
Yes.
unfortunately. And I was like, okay,
I hate
okay.
everything.
And then I saw you play, and I was like, okay. I
Yeah.
mean, all right then. This is amazing.
Skip he was one of my first, really visible big giant champions in
Yes.
this town.
Oh, he
and
loves you.
Yeah, I mean, not to take away from Tracy Gershon, my biggest champion,
But
and
she's
my
your
manager,
manager.
who's been my manager for years. But
Love Tracy.
But yeah, when Skip came to a show, and we, I think, as artists too, at times, it's not that I don't feel jaded, but I have gotten to the point where I don't get nervous if there's some big industry person in the room. Which
Totally.
that used to be what, if I knew someone might show up at a show, my entire world was like trying to make sure that person was impressed and all this stuff.
you can't. I know.
And now
But
it's
yeah,
like,
we've all done that.
yeah,
but
now it's
ouch.
like, you know what? They probably won't even show up, and if they do,
Yeah, that's-
they're gonna get the same show that I'm gonna give to
Yeah.
the people that show up anyway.
No,
so
exactly.
you either like me or you don't.
Isn't
I
that a
hope you
great
do,
place
and I
to?
hope you give me money to put out
Right.
music, but
If you
you
don't,
probably
I hope
not.
you do, and I hope you give me money. Like,
Yeah.
I want, like, yes.
That's kind of like
Yes.
our sign as artists,
Yeah.
like, please
Yeah.
give me enough money to put music out into
That's
the world.
all
Truly,
But-
because it's so freaking expensive.
It's
Every time
so
I hear
expensive.
like it takes $1 million to
Break an
work
act.
a song at radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
$1 million.
$1 million
I know, right?
for one single to like work at radio.
Isn't that great though to get to the place where you just want to be yourself and you're just
Yes.
like you either like me or you don't.
Yes.
You know, I feel like that's a really empowering place
It's
to
like
be.
the only time it really works long term too. I feel
Truly.
like all the artists I really respect and have had like long, sustaining, successful careers. That's always been the theme.
Yeah.
It's
It's
almost
when
like
you
the industry
stop.
breaks you down
So much
enough.
you can't do anything but be yourself. It's true.
You get so broken down.
Like the army.
Yeah. But you're finally like, I'm just
break
gonna be
you.
myself because I can't be anyone else.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
And what
it's
an
so
exhausting
true.
way to live. And
Yes.
like such a fearful way. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what you can give anybody if you're like looking for who
Right.
like, if you're looking for who you're supposed to be, you don't have anything to give anybody.
But it's so much easier said than done to
Totally.
be
Because
able
all
to
these
truly be
powerful
yourself. 'cause-
people are telling you
Yeah.
need to be something else.
Yeah, or even
Yeah.
just if you want to. I mean, there's so many steps in the process to have a song get out there, even if you are signed and even if your record label is completely behind you.
Yeah.
It takes so much for a song to be heard. And
know.
so there's a lot of times where when someone says, well, if you just do this, and a lot of times it's incremental and you don't even know it, but there's these little tiny things that happen. Well, if you just do this, then we'll be able to release the song. And you're like, oh, okay, that's easy. Like,
Yeah.
that's not changing who I am.
Right.
But then you do enough of those and you're like, you look and go, whoa. I mean, I've seen that happen so
That's
many
a really
times.
like insightful way to put it too, is like the incremental changes that we make so we're okay, or we make to please someone else. And I'm not saying
Yes.
to put it on them, like we're
But
grown
we do
women
it,
doing
yeah,
it.
we do
but
it,
like
yeah.
it's like, and then you look back and you're like, all those little 10% turns are now
100
Yes.
And it's hard to know when you're doing that too, because I feel like as artists we are like heightened versions of our true selves, right?
Sure.
And it's so
Absolutely.
important to be able to like take that off, you know, at the end of the day, and just have that time where you are just your normal self, and you're not feeling like you have to be this heightened version, you know.
Right. You're not
so it's hard
on.
to know where what of those things you are changing, or things you can just kind of shed.
Well,
and when you're with your people, you can just kind of be that person again.
And like all the while, any artist is evolving. So there's growth, but
You're
there's
always growing. Well, one of the crazy little tidbits of the story of Hit Shop and us working together.
That was really fun.
It was amazing, and so I've had one single to radio, which was
Baby Come On With It.
which
did great. It got to like 36, 35.
Did it really?
Yeah, and that was
It did.
before
And that
like
was-
women had broken again.
That was
Your
before Maddie and
indie
Tay had come
label,
out.
and like to get to 35
Yeah.
on the charts.
I was so incredibly excited with how much success we had, and
you had
just
a huge ad debut.
Huge.
Ad
well,
launch.
and that's what's so crazy is that no one was communicating with me on ad day, but my first ad day, which that's industry speak for everyone listening, but that's the day that your song actually goes to radio, and
you see how many radio stations
added
it.
how many
are there?
stations?
Like 150. 150.
And so
stations total.
I remember, so that day I was writing this song with Ruthie Collins and Jessica Roadcap.
Oh my
called
gosh.
Dear Dolly.
No,
And-
are you serious?
Yeah,
You
I
wrote
was
Dear Dolly
on
your
my ad day. And so we were all being brutally honest with just our stages of our careers and stuff. And we were about to start the bridge. We had pretty much written the whole thing. And I remember having my guitar in my lap, and you, Caroline, were the first person that texted me. I don't know if I reached out or if you just texted, but you said 44. And I dropped my guitar and I started bawling.
I ran to the bar. I ran to the bar, got some, what is it, vanilla vodka.
Probably.
That makes me tear up. That's so exciting.
Because we had the
just finished the
conversation too.
bridge.
Yeah, and we had the conversation too of like, you know what? Like 20 would be huge, but like 12 ads, like, and I was trying not to think about it, you know, because you don't want to put that in your head. But then 44 was so far beyond what I expected on the first week. And I was a mess. I was such a
In the
mess.
best way.
And then I'm sitting there going, Dear Dolly, I got 44 ads.
If anyone would be excited to be Dolly.
Oh my gosh.
I know. You know?
Yeah, so that was a very kind of, it's crazy how all of the worlds are connected. And
It really is. How crazy though that like I was your regional, you're writing Dear Dolly, that's your single, and then now we have to figure out how you guys all got together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it through the CMT? And then I want to do some joint combos about all of you guys after we kind of do a little intro.
You know,
so Kelly, tell me
I want
about
to
you.
say the CMT. So that franchise, from what I remember, that Leslie Fran is the woman who began that franchise.
She is the biggest champion for women in country music,
She's
period.
amazing.
And she is
And
a
good music.
badass lady. She was, I mean, she's like in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
She
was
is?
I think she is because she's a famous DJ in the rock world.
Oh.
99X, which is like the biggest rock station in Atlanta.
She never talks about
She
this.
was like this major personality there. And when I was living in Atlanta, immediately after college, I was like writing my little songs, like learning how to write songs. You know, first 100 songs you write are total crap and need to get thrown away. Please don't send them to us. I'm just kidding. I mean, but don't. Like literally, it just takes a long time.
It takes a long time.
But so I was like writing my little songs, and they were so bad. And but I had this like jewelry business, which was kind of like I was bringing in a little money doing that, and I was doing these craft fairs. And Leslie had this like adjunct like purse business with a buddy of hers, and we met, and she happened to say, well, I'm like at a radio station, and like, do you want to like come in and like record some little like acoustic demos in my studio? And I was like, okay. So I go and do that. I mean, they're so terrible.
So you've been friends with her from
I mean, probably since
a long time.
04 or 05. Then I moved back here
Before
in
she got to
06.
CMT.
She doesn't get here. I want to say she gets to Nashville in 2012 or 11.
Yeah.
My first single went to country radio in 2012, I think.
Sorry on the Rocks?
Yeah, or 13. Maybe 12. And then that was right about when they started the Next Women, like what they called a franchise. But that initiative was just like, I love it because, you know, even back then, people knew there was an issue. Like, it was like
Women weren't
something's
getting
up
played
with
on country
yeah.
radio.
And it was already a thing, but it hadn't really come to a head. like it did, a year ago,
Right.
with like the whole tomato thing. But like,
Which
her vision.
Tell what the tomato thing is, because people might not know outside of Nashville.
Just essentially like the presumption is that the listener in country music is a female, primarily female, and that the female listener doesn't actually want to hear female voices, and that there's research to back that up. And so successful people who are programming radio stations would say there's research that says if you want your station to do well, just don't play a lot of women, like, because that's not what women want. And so when that like came out, and
a specific man
specifically was
who
worded,
consults for all of the major country stations.
He said that men were the lettuce and women
and
were the tomatoes,
which
which
turned
turned.
never play them back to back.
and it just was one of those things. I mean, he didn't know when he was starting.
He
Like,
sparked a revolution.
It's just kind of a silly random metaphor, and that's
It was
kind of
so,
fed
so
into
silly.
why it was so.
I actually think that the silliness of the metaphor was a
Made it
big part of
blew up.
why
Yeah,
everyone
blew
was
up.
It
talking
worked,
about
Well,
it.
it turned out to be a great thing for women, really.
It helped elevate the conversation that was already being had.
Yeah.
Right.
And it put it it made it a lot more public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I will say that Leslie, she has done so much to be just a big megaphone for the issues with women and just the issues that she saw as an outsider coming into country music. And, she has really, I don't know, just the fact that we all started talking about it. I do remember one of the first times I ever talked to you was at one of those Change the Conversation meetings. And they asked some question, and you and I were both like, you were in the back of the room, and I was in the front, and we were like both answering somehow, and then we both were like, I love you and I love everything you just said, and we need to be friends.
Well, you know what? And to make it full circle with you, Caroline, like, Paul Worley had been telling me for years, because we both had been produced at different times by Paul Worley, who's a really famous producer who also produced
Stealing
Angels.
But he had been telling me for years that we would be great friends if we just met, and everybody's so busy on the road. It was like we just had never really bumped into each other. But
So y'all met and it changed the conversation.
We met once on the
at a
red
show,
carpet, but then because you were hosting that little crazy booth at the CMT Awards, but. Because that's when I remember being like, oh my gosh, you're Kelleigh Bannen. Paul keeps talking about you. But we didn't, again, it's like we didn't actually talk or get to know each other until the Change the Conversation meetings.
Okay. And one thing I do want to say about Leslie and about the way that I think she uses her megaphone is, and this is what I want to do, I think it's what you want to do too, I think it's what Dear Dolly's about. Like, it's not about complaining, and it's not about, like, why me, and it's not about man-hating, because we love us some men. It's just about saying, hey, we just want to be seen, too, and, like, we don't, in this day and age, like, it feels silly to sort of have to talk about it. Like, I feel silly, like, that I have to talk about it. But it's like, it's just, hey guys, we just want there to be room for us too. We don't want to take away anything from anybody else. We don't want to is it like okay to cuss?
Cuss it up.
You can bleep me.
We can bleep it.
But like, just like you don't want to sound bitchy about it. It's not about that. It's just about like, hey, there's like some really incredible music being made by ladies in this town, and it'd be really sad for it to not get heard. I mean, and we're nearing like, and yes, Maren Morris has like that. She's had an awesome year, and yes, Kelsey is having a great year, but like that's still not a ton when you look at the last 12 years, and and so it's not about man hating, it's not about complaining, and it's not about poor little old any of us. It's just about, hey guys, like we want a platform to share our music too, and this is happening.
And that's the hard thing about writing songs about it too, is like I was fearful, and the other thing is like we talk about being authentic to ourselves, but really my career, I've only been ever able to release anything when my record label thought it was good.
Right.
Sure. So sometimes it doesn't matter if it's what I want to do at all, because it's the only chance I even have at all.
Yeah.
So
they decide.
My first single, half put a single out on a sister label. We had one promotion person. It was barely really a single release.
So it didn't really get a big shot.
No, and it was a song that wasn't really representative of me at all.
It was called Ramblin' Man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even like good is one thing, but it's also like, do they think it's good, and will
they
it
just
work
thought it was
on the
exciting.
radio?
It just excited them for whatever reason, and it's almost like you want to be authentic to yourself, but I mean, when you don't even get the chance, so it's like they wanted to put Dear Dolly out, and they wanted to put and we're not putting Dear Dolly out to the radio. It's just just a beautiful piece of art that we created for visual.
I love it.
Which I do love that your label is supportive of that.
Yeah, and they wanted to put it out as a single,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, because it just, to me, it was like, don't send me out to radio with a 6-minute ballad in 6/8 talking about how radio won't play it. Please don't do that to me.
Please
Yeah.
do not.
Yeah, I didn't know that,
I
Ruthie.
love the song, but the other thing is when I was worried about putting that into the world as a single because it's so late after this Tomato Gate thing happened. And
Tomato
I've
Gate.
had a lot of
hilarious.
positive responses, but we were talking about this the other day. You naturally go to the negative ones, and those are the ones that stick with you. And I had this one guy on Facebook that commented, and I happened to see it, and it was like, little songs. No one wants to hear little songs from a girl. No thanks. Turning it off now. You had me until then. And I was like so compelled.
That's one of the lyrics. Yeah.
Like, I was so compelled to respond to that, and I was just like, hey, I totally understand why you would get that. Is this how I feel every day? No, absolutely not. I wrote this song with 2 of my best friends the day after the record label that I was signed to at the time said, we love this record you just spent 1.5 years on your life on. We hear hits all over it. We can't put it out because you're a girl.
Oh,
I was like,
so it's
that's
like, why
they
did you
literally
get
said that
signed?
to her.
literally said girls
So-
are too hard. So I wrote that the next day with my girlfriends in a place of what the heck?
What are
That
you
is
supposed
how
to
I
do?
felt in that moment.
Yeah,
I
totally.
don't feel like that every day at all. I feel very supported as a woman in this town. But it was a true feeling, just like we write songs when your heart's broken, and that's a true feeling that day. No one's going to kind of attack you for saying,
Yeah.
why
Right.
do you feel like that? You're so lame. It was
Right, that's
how
what
I
art
felt in
is.
that
It's an
moment,
expression of
Totally.
Yeah, and I said that to him, and he wrote back, and he was like, "This makes so much more sense now. Thank you. Great
I
job."
love that. That was that was one that actually worked.
Normally
It
that
just
doesn't
gets
work.
crazy.
Yeah.
If you respond to the crazy
Normally
comments, it
just-
just gets super.
Yeah.
I feel like I tried to be kind and be like, I really appreciate you giving the song a chance. Here's why I wrote it. This is not how I feel every day. Hope you have a great weekend. Please love me.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. People just need a little bit of a shift of their perspective,
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about Heartbreak. That's your new EP.
Yes, that is my new EP. And
Let's talk about it, Natalie Stovall.
Heartbreak was, it is the result of what happened after Hit Shop shut
So
down.
what happened after Hit Shop shut down with you?
So it was crazy because, the Baby Come On With It single had done so great, and we were gearing up to release Mason Jar, and we were 1 week
Away
out
from releasing
Wow.
your next single, which everyone was
from
freaking
releasing
out
Mason
about.
Jar.
Amazing.
And they called and said the label was shutting down, and
Isn't that's
I
heartbreaking?
literally went to the label and picked up a box of it was filled with envelopes addressed and already
Oh,
stamped
man.
to every radio station in America with the single inside and a note inside of it. And so I took all of those out and I sold them on the road because what else am I going to do with them?
Was it just devastating?
But it was it helped that we were on the road so much. There was a lot going on that we had to figure out just logistically to just keep life going, because we had been committed to all these radio shows, which are free shows and you don't get paid, but I still have to, you got to pay your band. That's why it's expensive to get singles on the radio. That's one of the things a lot of people don't realize. And so we were actually going out to open for Little Big Town that week. And I remember thinking, well, I guess I really shouldn't be that upset because this is the first time this has happened to me. Oh, and they've had this happen 4 times to them. So I kind of felt like a big old baby, and
A
that
lot
was
of
a
artists
healthy.
do lose their deals and have to cycle through it.
And like Ruthie said, it's like everyone that I look up to and admire, it's like the reason that they have careers is because they were able to persevere when things like that happen.
Right.
So, yes, it was hugely devastating because I was very confident in Mason Jar and the relationships we'd made at radio. It just all made more sense to me. But then you just have to kind of shift gears, and all of my music was taken down offline, and I fought and called the investors and the guys who had invested in Hit Shop and pleaded with them, and they sold my masters back to me. So I at least got to have music back up online. Because when I signed with Hit Shop, they had taken all my previous music down.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go put up old records when my newest EP isn't up there.
Right.
That's just, it's weird.
So you're kind of in a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, and so then everything we were working on in the studio with Paul Worley wasn't really mine anymore, and it took a very long time to fight for that and get that back. But even by that point, it was like, okay, well, we're already moved on, and I'm already writing a lot of new songs that are dealing with what I'm currently going through and not what I was going through a year ago. So yeah, that was one of the reasons too that all of the songs, the EP is very much about like not giving up and not giving in.
Those are the make or break points in your career where you decide, do you want to do this or not, really?
Yeah.
You know, because it's so easy to just like hang it up and be done with it. And like, okay, here was my shot. It didn't work. But if it's like something you're meant to do.
That's a thing. I'm going to be singing songs and playing on the road whether anybody's there to listen or not, because that's just what I do. But it was pretty incredible to see what happened, because we in a little bit of a way, I feel like it was kind of a selfish EP, because we had to do so much experimenting. Like, I wanted to work with a lot of producers, and it doesn't necessarily sound like one giant unit. Like, one song's super pop, and then Dear Dolly is like, it's such a country song, but I do way more R&B than Ruthie's is more bluegrass. But it's like, you know, I was trying a lot of different things, and that was the therapy I needed after my label shut down. You know? But then to see the response, because we ended up needing to launch a Kickstarter to finish it. We were almost done, but we needed some help with the very last bit of it. And it was scary as all get out to be like, help us. We can't afford to finish it. And then it got funded in the first week.
How cool is that?
And so then knowing that people still wanted music from me, even though I didn't feel cool anymore because I didn't have a big fancy record deal.
It is an ego blow, you know?
It is.
And Kelleigh, I know you lived through that too. So
Kelleigh
have that.
Kelleigh just went through this.
Maybe I'm being stubborn about it. Like, I thought I was going to feel really crappy about, truth be told, we came right up to the middle of May still talking about what it would look like to put the EP out with Universal. And
I loved Famous. That was like my favorite song. I am so shocked that wasn't a massive hit.
Yes.
I talked to many a radio guy that was like, Famous is my favorite song.
I'm gonna make you famous. I mean, it's like in your head right away.
Immediately.
It's one of our favorite parts of the show.
That was
so fun.
And you're in that gown in the music video and everything.
You know, my stylist made that dress. It was like actually a short dress. Well, yeah, so it was like a short dress from this like designer out of England, and then what he did was he got all this fabric and just like it totally would have come apart, like really honestly with those fans blowing, it was like about to come apart, but he just like tacked and sewed, and it just was like, it was just about the volume. All this like skirt and dress was happening, and it was fun. I mean, we just wanted to have a moment with that video. We felt like one of the things that we could do well was the visuals, and we felt like if we led, like my team there at Universal, especially headed, like the creative team was headed by a lady named Joanna Carter. But so that video, we wanted to lead with the visuals on Famous, and that was kind of that was the marketing strategy on that, was like, okay, we're gonna lead with the video and these really strong visuals, and then the sales started, and I think everybody knew that the song was gonna be reactive. That was what had happened with the song. And for me, a big part of like my sort of what was happening for me development wise as an artist is I worked with Paul. He was the first producer, really like real producer that I worked with in town. He was a huge advocate for me. I learned a ton about singing from him. I learned a ton about music from him, and I love that man. But when I met Jason Lenning and we started working together, that was when I was like, oh wait, like I think this is the thing.
Yeah.
And so we kind of disappeared. The label didn't really know what we were up to. We went and cut 5 songs. Famous was on there. And we kind of came back, and it was so different from what we had been doing.
Okay.
And Famous was the poppiest, most forward-leaning thing on the project. But it was kind of on this continuum that was like funky and kind of like modern sounds, but also some really sort of like just cool traditional ways of capturing sounds too. And everyone at the label reacted. I mean, I think they were afraid of it too. Like we knew, and we were before like everything that happened with Kelsey, and like we knew it was going to be an uphill battle with the poppiness, but I just really felt like it was the right move. And I don't know that I would change my mind now. Like,
how did radio respond to it?
You know what? I think they did what they could. Like, I'm not gonna point at radio and say you guys messed it up. Like, I don't think that at all. I think it was scary to them because it was reactive, and that means people either loved it and immediately went and bought it. We sold 150,000 singles.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it never
sales
charted.
on it.
Like.
So the sales were insane.
The sales were amazing.
So that's where, I mean, that was what was so crazy is we had this incredible sales
and that's
story.
frustrating because it's
so you're like, it's working with the people.
You know, it's something that's there,
it's selling.
And radio was just, I think, I mean, I get why they're making the decisions they're making. It just didn't help me.
It doesn't help you personally.
Like,
doesn't help your
and what
cause.
was crazy too was the places that did give it a shot. Like,
did really well.
The research was the research was really strong in the
That's
places.
the part about the music industry that makes me feel maddening. It's like it makes you like want to pull your hair out because you're like, this is working, it's working. Why aren't people getting on board? And you know you have something, but there's really
It's
like you're
hard.
almost powerless.
Yeah, you can do everything.
So what happened after that EP?
So that music never came. So that single came out, and then it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, you have a lot of fans at country radio. We just need to do something safe, and that was one of those moments where like. I let myself, and I'm going to own it. Like, I'm not saying someone else convinced me and they're the bad guy. I'm going to say I let myself, and I'm the CEO of my business, I let myself get convinced that it was smart to play it safe. And we put out a song that was like, essentially just like a jam band track. Like, it was called You Already Love.
I love that song.
And I love
It's a
that
great
song too, but that was on that album because I wanted that moment. It has this super long, crazy outro solo, sort of instrumental moment. And that was why that was on that record is because that was part of our live show. And I never really thought of that as a single, and I was trying to be a team player. We had really asked my team to take Famous and take a risk on that, and then we'd got it handed to us.
But you didn't because it sold.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's a both and.
I know. I know.
So that's like, lesson out there to, the biggest thing I can say about You Are What You Love is, you guys, it is never the right move to play it safe. I don't believe. At least
totally
as a woman,
agree with you.
I think that's the
as an
riskiest
artist
thing
in
you can
general.
do. Actually, is play it safe because no one cares,
Yeah.
and no one wants to. Like, I think they what they said to me was, no one's gonna say no to this.
But no one's either.
That doesn't mean anyone's gonna say yes.
Yes, because no one's excited about
Yeah.
it. Because they want the exciting new music.
Yes.
You're right.
And so then I was opening for Cole that fall on his first headlining tour, and we had to put something out. And I had a song that we had just recently cut called "Smoke When I Drink" that I loved, and I thought was just it's what I didn't write it, but I love cutting. I don't cut a lot of outside songs, but when I get jealous, like I can't believe I didn't write that, or I love that idea, I wish I'd been in that room. I had that feeling about Smoke When I Drink, and it was sort of where I wanted to be as an artist too, like a little ballsy, but still like really smart writing, and I loved that. It was written by Jessie Jo Dillon and Chase McGill and Laura Veltz, but the label was just like, no, like we're not gonna put that out. Like that is too, like nobody wants like smoking and drinking in the title. Like no, radio is not gonna play that.
Now, was it you that told me that radio is against the two at the same time?
Oh, I don't know that.
Someone has told me that, and I've actually.
You can smoke or you can drink, but you can't
smoke
smoke
or you can't
and drink.
So you can write. Isn't that so funny? Like, so they're like, you can write a song like called "Cigarette," where it's like you're my cigarette, but you can't say like
smoke
smoke. Okay, I thought it was you, but they cited your "Smoke When I Drink" and also "Smoking and Drinking." Miranda's song did not do very well.
Well, we never went to country radio with it, so I don't know.
But I wonder if they were, and it's so interesting to me. So now
You can't have too many vices.
I have had a couple of times where my manager has been like, "Now you need to like be careful because you're mentioning smoking and drinking in like 3 out of 11 of your songs."
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, but that's country, like.
Because ain't nobody in country music smokes and drinks.
Did y'all grow up in the same generation that I did, or what? Like, what is? Have you been to a bar?
Yeah.
I
Ever?
will say that
Like,
does make me wonder, and this again, like I don't want to be the feminist crazy person because I really don't ever think of myself as that person.
this town will turn you
But,
into
like-
that, though. None of us started that way.
I do think that is sort of like, as a woman, you're not allowed to say
yes.
smoking and
Well,
drinking.
it's a lot harder for us. One of the biggest trends. It's not just because there's all the dudes. It's that people are more accepting of guys singing about partying, because when guys sing about partying, then they're just cool bros partying. When girls sing about partying, we're trashy.
I hate
We
to
are
say
trashy.
it.
Like,
We
we're
say
actually
it.
not
It's
trashy.
not really
But
trashy
that's
at all.
the thing is that
Yes, I know it's perceived that
Can you
way.
imagine reaction, and I'm sorry to call people out, but I'm not going to. But can you
Please
imagine
do
the
it.
reaction if a girl put out a song about drinking and driving?
Oh,
Literally.
yeah.
About having a drink in your car and driving down the road and having your girl moment. Can you imagine what our labels would say to us?
Yeah.
How many times
Well, I mean, I don't.
do guys put songs out about literally drinking and driving? Like,
Yeah.
but we can't smoke a cigarette in a song.
Well,
I can't
in
smoke
like-
a metaphorical
Yeah,
cigarette.
that's
the thing. Like,
the thing about the
literally, you
whole
don't
thing
even
about
smoke.
smoke when I
Like,
drink is it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
And that was like what was actually so crazy to me is I don't smoke. I've never smoked. And actually, I did recently have a lady cigar was handed to me.
rebel.
I had a lady
lady
cigar. Yes,
cigar.
they're like these little skinnies. They're super cute. It was like
Cigarellas
bourbon,
or whatever?
vanilla. Yes, I don't even know what it was. But a friend of mine, we were on vacation.
I
He was
love
like,
that you've never smoked, but you went straight to a cigar.
well,
Like, what is that?
I'm festive,
Ow.
and I like don't want to be left out.
festive.
So like he brought me this one. Everybody was on the porch. And it was like, here, girls. I brought these little lady cigars. I'm like, okay. I had to relight it like 17 times. I couldn't keep it lit even like
my gosh.
during the duration. But
I would be a mess.
anyway, and so that was like the really long version of that. That was
smoked
kind of
20
what
cigars.
happened.
I'm not gonna
I
lie.
was famous.
Okay, so
And,
so you were gonna put out Smoke.
So we did just as a single, but we never got to put out a body of work while we were there and I asked the label to put out a song called Church Clothes. That's a
cool
that's a
title.
ballad.
It makes me want to cry right now just hearing the title. The song is unbelievable. When this girl sings it,
It's
I'm just
stunning.
a mess. It is
Thanks.
gorgeous.
But
gorgeous.
it was right before Girl Crush happened, and it was right as it was sort of looking like, y'all remember that moment like when Girl Crush, it looked like it wasn't gonna work, and they were just like ballad, female, no, like it was like no. And so then then I went down that hole, and I know you guys have been there too, where it's like everyone's telling you, you just need to go right hit, go right hit, go right hit,
Like
go
I
right
am
hit.
writing you hits.
I know.
And you're
Like, I
like,
turned them all in.
I don't know what to do. And then you're looking outside of yourself for the answer,
You kind of can lose yourself.
and not in a good way.
Yeah.
And
well, there's no better way
Yeah.
to inspire creativity than someone being over you saying right ahead, right ahead, right
And I
ahead.
get it.
And of course,
Yeah,
then
but
I'm
you
going to
gotta
be the
have
most
a hit.
creative.
You've got to
person.
have hits. If you, I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's
But
not
who
like,
knows what a hit is?
and
That's-
that
and
is
everyone
what I
is having that
actually-
conversation.
But
That's
like, who
the thing.
gets to decide what a hit is? Because I don't know if I believe in research. I'm going to be honest with you.
Good.
I don't.
It's so flawed.
The research
Radio
on us
research
on
is
Baby
so
Come On With
flawed.
It, they came back. If I believed in research, that was the biggest song that's ever been written.
Well, they say
And-
like they call houses from like 7 to like 5 to 7 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Like they target female women, and then they play them like little snippets
30
of
seconds of
30
a
seconds of
song.
a song and say, "Do you like this?" Like
Yeah.
it's like.
And there's new
Really?
research now where they're giving people like glorified like little iPods or whatever, or there's even this stuff now where it's like somehow they're electronically tracking what you're listening to. But the thing is,
the personal people meters.
yeah, but the thing is like they're paying these people and they're not
And-
paying them very much. So it's an interesting demographic that is going where you need to pick them up, doing the whole thing for
It's
not
not-
very much money. It's not necessarily the people that are gonna
That are
champion
actually going to
our
listen to your
music
song
or buy our
And
songs.
here's
and come to your shows.
Yeah.
This is just
And that's a
totally novice opinion, but here's what we do know. We know that anything that's new doesn't research well initially
Sure.
because if it's unfamiliar, it's not
Yeah.
gonna. So here's the bottom line, ladies. There are like 4 female voices on country radio total. So any of us put out a song, it's going to be unfamiliar. Like no one's
Right.
gonna accidentally think we're Easton Corbin. No one's gonna accidentally think we sound like Luke Bryan. Like
Right.
they're gonna be like, I don't know that. And like that's not like that they're being bad.
No,
That's like
it's
that's
human
human
nature.
nature. It's like, ooh, that's new. I don't like that until I do. And so that's what
Until you
happens
hear
is
it
you
enough.
don't end up having really like the longevity for the most part. And obviously it is being done. So I'm not trying to say it's like, I think what they pulled off with Kelsey was so awesome and great. And her
Yeah.
team was so tenacious and they kept
Yeah.
that story alive until they could have the moment where Taylor just freaking blew the roof off. And like, and I'm not, and I don't want to take anything away from Kelsey saying that, like it was, but that's how many things it takes to like
Yeah.
collectively
Build.
go right to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
it really is a perfect storm.
yeah, and it's awesome when it does. And
But it's like a miracle.
Yeah.
it kind of is a mini
So
miracle.
what happened after Universal and you parted ways? What
Well-
did life look like for you?
Honestly, what was so amazing, and I was really frustrated, and I wish things had gone differently. But I have nothing negative to really say about those guys. Like, they knew I was unhappy. They knew they weren't getting what they wanted. I wasn't getting what I wanted. I just had to go make music, which I did, and I paid for myself, which is what became the EP.
And it's awesome. You made like music videos for every song.
Yeah, oh, it was so fun.
Which are so cool.
It was really fun.
Adorable.
I mean, because it was like, well, we can't afford to go. Well, I mean, Ruthie was just talking about it.
Landlocked sounds like it should be on the radio right now.
Well, and Bobby Bones did play Landlocked, and and some other like smaller stations that are like, you know, were just fans played it, and I'm really thankful for that. But what was really amazing about that, it did kind of go as well as it could have. Like, we actually decided we would not be putting it out with Universal, like, I want to say mid-May, and they released me immediately so we could put it out on the timeline because it's so summer relevant. Like, I just was like, guys, like, I have to put this out in June. Like, I can't put it out in August. Like, I need it to come out in June.
Yeah.
And that was really one of the bigger sticking points of like why we really couldn't put it out with them. They just couldn't get on. They're huge and they couldn't get on my timeline, and I was like, this is something I'm not at this point willing to compromise on. Like, I gotta get this music out. Like it's just been too long.
Right.
And so they were amazing. I want to say they like released me from my contract June 1st, and it came out June 17th. Like,
nice.
it was like, so that was really awesome, and it just felt like pushing reset. And I've said it. You guys have heard me say it, and you're probably bored of me saying it, but we just needed to push reset and start again, and that was kind of like what this was.
So have you felt okay being out of the record deal? Because you made a little video EP or something.
Yeah, we did like these 2 little documentary pieces, and I was really scared about leaving the label, but I also knew we couldn't move forward. There was no way forward.
Yeah, you're stuck.
We were totally stuck.
Ruby's upset about it.
Preach,
Ruby. Preach it, girl.
That's
right.
Tell us how it is, Ruby.
And you know, I thought my biggest fear was honestly that people wouldn't support me or think I was good if I didn't have a record deal.
And isn't it funny the lies we tell ourselves?
It's so dumb.
Well, it's all because like we get so used to this validation and this team of people, and like you kind of start thinking like maybe you're not worthy or good enough if you don't have them. But that's just part of the process.
What actually has happened for me, which has amazed me more than anything, is I actually think it, in some ways,
sugar.
And like as ladies, I think you know we feel like we got to be all cleaned up and perfect in a certain way, and you do have to, the imaging has to be really good, and you have to look like a star, and those things are just part of the business. But I do think that if you're a fortress, then nobody can root for you. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I saw happen was in like just what happened with the EP is like, it was like, oh, holy shit, people are rooting for us, and like. Yeah. They just needed like permission to, or like they needed to know that I needed them to root for me, and
you
like
felt a good overwhelming
I felt
response?
amazing about just like giving people, like letting people into this story, and instead of them wanting to tear it down, they wanted to like cheer it on, and that was
awesome.
I mean, that's been
and that's
nice.
why you said you were.
Have you felt that way about
too?
Yeah, I mean, just the way the Kickstarter got fulfilled.
And the Kickstarter, when we launched that was the video for that. Actually, was the first time that I said publicly that the label had shut down.
And that's a hard thing to say publicly, isn't it?
Well, and it had been a long time, and the thing is, we lived on the road independently as artists for so long that it wasn't as scary to me as I think it could have been, because it's like, oh, well, I know how to be an independent artist. It was just really nice to have some help.
It is nice.
It's super nice to have a team of people.
And people paying for stuff.
And people
Wait, they pay for stuff?
Truly.
What kind of stuff?
I know, what did they actually pay for? But
Just kidding. They paid for a beautiful video.
They did.
I just kid because man, it's hard to tour out
well,
there.
and also ultimately, we all end up paying for it if we have success.
You
pay for with a label. Yeah, it's like if you don't.
Honestly,
have
what's
success,
funny is like, because we just were striking a deal with them, which they've been super generous, but like they're gonna let me get some of my masters back, and part of that negotiation is like essentially you can like pay us a commission or like on your music if you put it out. This is a little inside baseball, but we like see the number that I'm unrecouped, and it's like, I mean, it's right under $1 million.
That's a lot of dough.
That's a lot of money. Like it's really hard to like say negative. Like
no.
Like we didn't get songs on the radio. We did. I mean, Sorry on the Rocks was went to 36 or
That's
so.
Awesome.
But like, you know, but they spent a lot of money on me and made me visible in ways I couldn't have made myself visible. Yeah. Same, you know, it's like and same, you know.
Well, and with I don't know.
It's like so interesting. I feel like our careers are so similar and so different. It's like You were on a record label for pretty, like, how long were you?
6
Capitol
years.
Universal? Yeah. So I've been on Curb for 5.5.
Have you had a real push to
No.
radio yet,
Never.
Ruthie?
No.
Not yet. Is that coming?
It's
Yes,
supposed
we're
to
just
be
gonna speak that into the world.
First of the year.
Yes.
Hey, do you know the song?
No, we have it down to like 4.
Okay.
But
So-
it's because every song on her album.
She's
could
such
be
a good
single.
writer.
She's
Ruthie,
such a phenomenal
You
writer.
guys are very
People
sweet.
do not know. Not because
No
I don't
clue.
want like people do not know what a good writer. Like you are such a good writer.
Very sweet.
And learning your songs, I like got to learn that.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you.
yeah.
And
You
it's
guys
all
are amazing
it's
writers
all
as
so
well.
catchy and wonderful, and I've been a big fan for a long time. But I remember when you signed with them. I mean, were you living with? Because you were still living with James at that point. Because Ruthie and her sister were my husband's roommates before he and I got married.
Is that not amazing?
So
Did
yeah,
you guys
so
have
Ruthie lived with my husband before I
Are you
met
my
him.
sister?
She is definitely my sister wife.
Yeah.
But I feel like, because I remember you negotiating that contract and sitting in that condo.
Really?
Yeah.
I must have been like hanging because I feel like I was. No, because I played for Capitol when I was on.
Okay,
East
so that must have
Nashville.
been longer than I
and this was
think.
like 2.
I also still
you
think I'm
think of your
21,
life as
so
like
it's
maybe
fine.
this is just me. I just think of like what apartment and what.
Where
part
did
of
I
the
live?
house.
know,
Yeah,
And what did my hair look
Yeah,
like?
what did
then?
my hair look like? So I was
That was that really
brunette.
bad ombre phase.
I'm
gosh.
still rocking that just to try not to spend money
No,
on
it
her.
doesn't look ombre. It looks great. It looks awesome. So what have you
It's
guys?
called the Don't Do Your Hair Ombre.
I never do mine. What have you guys learned from all these different life experiences you've had in music and all these different phases that you're all at? What do you take away from being a woman in the music industry? The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. It's a big statement.
That's
Try to wrap it up.
Big
You know,
question.
I mean, I feel like I just talked too long, but
No, all y'all talk.
Got one.
you know, if there is not an unlimited amount, I'm gonna start again. There is not a limited amount of success or goodness or good things, and I think there's this sort of like underdog in me from like some high school crap and other things that's like thinks that you have to compete with other people for that good or that blessing or like that hit or what have you, and there is not a limited amount of good out there to be had, and so you do not have to compete with anyone.
No.
Like, yes, you have to be excellent and you have to compete with yourself, but like, I mean, it's cheesy, but like you are so much stronger when you're supporting and cheering on other people. You endear yourself to them so much when you're supporting what they're doing, and just it's a two-way street. Like,
And
you
it
don't
has to
have
be
to
real.
Yeah.
Like
it has to be real.
I struggled with jealousy for a long time. For like other friends had publishing deals, and I just could not get one for the longest time.
Yeah.
And it was literally not until I felt my heart be truly happy for people in my life that were having wonderful things, and it just finally, and that was when things started happening to me.
And I think the more that we support one another too, the more you realize that, and the more open you become.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not okay with sharing the spotlight with other people and you just close off, then you're by yourself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are by
Alone.
yourself.
How lonely.
Yeah.
And it is.
Super
It's a
lonely.
very lonely place to
Well,
be.
and wishing ill on someone else is not going to make
It's an
you
ugly
more
place
successful.
to be. No, it's gonna make you
No.
iller.
Yeah.
And
It's just going to
always-
consume your thoughts
Yeah.
in a way that like
No.
you can't get
It's
those thoughts
awful.
back.
Yeah.
But they're just fake thoughts that
Yeah.
aren't real. You're just in
No.
your own little fake
Yeah.
world, just wishing.
Yeah.
You know, you end up hurting
Yeah.
yourself, like
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Matt and I have always said that it's like the music business, and I think all life, you know, it's like it's not a piece of pie, and Kelly's not going to take a slice away from me, and Natalie's not going to take a slice. I'm not going to
No.
take one of your slices. You know, it's more, it's a candle. You know, and I'm not going to steal her pie, but like she can light my candle, and I can light her candle, and then we can go
Aw.
light everyone else's candle, and then it's like you
I
say,
love that.
it's
I haven't
not
heard that.
limited, you
And
know?
that's why you guys combined for this three
Three
girls
girls
rock
rock
into
into
a
a
bar.
bar.
So, and we can find tour dates on all y'all's websites and
Yes.
stuff. Three girls
Of
rock a
course.
bar.
Yeah.
Rock into a bar.
Why can't
Like
I
the
get
joke.
that right?
Because it's like a joke.
Three girls walk into a bar. Get it?
Ah,
Three
there you
girls
go.
walk into a bar.
There you
Yes.
go.
So look at you guys doing exactly what you're saying, though. You know, like
And that was the
lifting
thing.
each other
Natalie
up.
was like, "Let's actually do it. We
Yeah.
talk about it. We support each other online. Let's like actually get out
Do it.
there and support each other in real life, like for the whole world."
Has it been the most fun?
It
been
is.
so much
It's
fun.
therapy. I mean, I am so inspired by these girls and
Same.
the music that they make and that they create. And I feel stronger on stage when we're like,
Aw.
you know, I mean, I love doing my own thing. I love it. But to have this as a compliment to what I do, we would never get to catch up if we didn't
I
tour
know.
together.
There's that too.
The poor guys. I mean, the three of
It's
us.
just fun to have other girls in like the dressing room.
Oh my
'Cause
gosh,
I'm like,
I
can I
know.
borrow your hairspray?
There's
Like,
so
does
many more
anybody
makeup
have like
tips. Yeah.
Tampons?
And the
Body
guys-
makeup?
Yeah, and the guys, because this is something that the guys and I had talked about a lot too, just because this was the way that things used to be done. I mean, people would
that
all
Dolly,
band together.
Linda
Yes,
Ronstadt, Emmy Lou
Johnny
tour.
Cash
Yes.
and Elvis and all that. They would all just get one
Pile in a
band,
car, yeah.
pile in, and go play together. And the thing is, I have a van and I have a band, and they do too. But it was like, well, but why
I
can't
don't
we
have
just
a
make
van
it
like
happen?
that.
Yeah.
Well, but
You have a
Mommy
built-in
don't have
van.
She has like a
Yeah.
Natalie
amazing
Stovall
van.
can drive.
She has a
van and
she has
van.
like amazing.
Well, we
Taylor,
got the
Taylor
Sprinter.
Swift, right?
Trailer Swift is the trailer, and the
then
van is Beyonce
Beyonce.
Van Shelton. So, and that was part of it too. Is that when we did get the Sprinter van, we have 5 bunks. It's like a minibus. And
It's
so
really
it's
amazing,
just enough
actually.
to do something like this, and it made it. It was one of those situations where it was like, how could we not?
Yeah.
You know,
It was
and
already built. It was
so
ready.
it's just fun.
Yeah.
What
It's
a
just
memory.
so
You know,
much
you're all going to
fun.
look back on this when we're all old and gray, and you're going to think this is like the best time of your life. Everyone I interview, I always ask them what they enjoy most about their career,
Yeah.
especially people who are a little older. And all of them say they like the journey. Like they
Yeah.
don't like getting
Yeah.
to their destination, because once they get to the destination, then they have to create a new one, you know?
Yeah.
Like the whole joy is the process. I know it's so cliche,
yeah.
but
No,
it
makes
is the
perfect
journey.
sense.
Speaking of, okay, so I have to wrap up with Leave Your Light. We've already been talking an hour, so I have to wrap this.
gosh.
I want to hear about really fast your blog and podcast. Kelleigh
Yeah.
Bannen has This Natural Life.
So that was just part of like I couldn't put music out, so I was just trying to figure out another way to connect to fans, share my story, and be honest about my life and my stuff. And so that started as a blog. Like we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary in
That's so
October,
cool.
and then we just like today, which is I guess it's like what. I don't know when this will air, but it's like the 25th today.
Okay.
It just premiered the first episode of the first season of the podcast.
Heck
premiered.
yes! So
yeah.
what are you talking about on your podcast?
Well, this episode's called The Radio Game, but it's sort of like each week there's one person that we're interviewing, like kind of looking at the like byline is like how does Music City make its biggest export, but sort of as told by someone on the journey. Like export, yeah. Like how do we make and market songs and what goes into that? So it's like the good, the bad, the ugly kind of that, and yeah, it's like me processing what's happened, but also like I feel like you too, like we have access to people that have amazing stories and like just things you couldn't hear anywhere else, and
it's so cool to hear the behind the scenes
so
stuff.
I love that stuff. Yeah,
And to hear how that's cool.
and I think it can encourage people like whatever they're into. Like it doesn't have to be just about music. Like you could get like that's sort of the hope too. Is that
so you're kind of showing how music starts here and gets to the world.
But each episode is sort of like looking at a different part of like this first episode is the radio game. I think number 2 is called Get Hot or Go Home. It's about beauty image and like
That's awesome.
Yeah, and like we interview like Joanna Carter from UMG, and she talks about like making videos and stylists and wardrobe and extensions, and like we just talk, and then we're gonna talk about that, like what really goes into it. Like, yeah, it does take us an hour and a half to get ready for getting on stage, and that's like really
Not
weird.
Ruth, but the rest of us. She can get ready in like 5 seconds.
It's just like stuff like that.
yeah,
That's awesome.
It's gonna be fun. But
So is it on your website, Kelleigh
so
Bannen?
it is on, like the premieres are happening actually at countryliving.com, but it'll be like through the podcast, like iTunes, and then like also through the blog website. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
This Life I Live, so blog and podcast.
Yeah, This Natural Life.
This Natural Life.
Yeah. But I like This Life I Live. That would be fun.
Oh, that's
pretty
Rory.
smart. That's cool.
I think that's Joanne Rory.
Yeah.
This Life I Live.
I think
That's a
that's what
beautiful
his was.
title.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
so cool.
Do you guys have any sites that we need to check out?
Well, Natalie
Natalie
Stovall.com.
Stovall, yeah.
You always have to go to
NatalieStovall.com.
NatalieStovall.com.
And Ruthie
Ooh,
Collins.
Ruthie, will you talk about your like Pinterest pass fail?
Yeah. So you can find all that stuff at ruthiecollinsmusic.com. So I do a bunch of web series, video stuff. So we did a 6-episode series based on the renovation of Amelia Airstream. which is supposed to come out on the DIY Networks platform and GAC's
Okay.
platform. And
It's gonna be so cool.
so we've got that. I've done a series called Pinterest Pass or Fail, where I take like random Pinterest projects and give them a passing or fail grade. Because you know, like, we're not actually Martha Stewart, and some of these things look like amazing, and you're like, why does my flip flop cake not look like their amazing flip flop cake? You know, why are we even making flip flop cakes to begin with?
They said it was easy.
So it's like some of them are funny, some of them like actually work, and then we do like I've done a bunch of just 30-second DIYs that are like quick, easy projects you can do at home. So it's all into that like vintage home style, you know, home and styling theme.
Love
But,
that.
Yeah.
it's super fun.
Okay, so I wrap with every episode, leave your light. So can y'all just give me a little bit of inspiration? I know this whole thing's been inspirational. But
light.
give me a little bit of inspiration.
Oh, I'm never give up.
That's really the truth, isn't it?
That is my mantra, is just never give up.
Oh my gosh, actually, can I jump on that?
Yeah.
Okay, I follow Twitter Moments. Like, I love the Twitter Moments thing on Twitter where it's like, you know, so there was this Twitter moment 2 days ago where this seal had leapt up on, like, it doesn't have, like, appendages, does it? Like, maybe it has arms? A seal.
little
Okay,
flappers.
little flappers. So it leaps up onto the back of this boat to escape these orcas. It willed itself up on to the back of this boat to escape these killer whales, and I was just like, never quit, never say die.
give
Like
up.
that little seal, like
Truly. That makes me want to cry.
Isn't that amazing? I was like, really, I don't know what's happening with me. I might have been like hormonal, but I was like, whoa, that seal. I was like feeling that seal.
That's
Like,
amazing.
Well, you know, Mother Nature is really interesting. Michael and I were talking about this last night. We are the only species that, especially like in the United States and the life we live, that we get to like pursue our dreams.
Yeah.
A lot of nature, a lot of people in the world are just surviving.
Yeah.
Like, we're over here worried about
Yeah.
like our dreams coming
Passion.
through.
Our
passion.
Or are we
Our
fulfilling our
hearts.
calling?
But one of
Yeah.
the best things about it is that we get to surround ourselves with people that we love. And if you consciously make that choice and you surround yourself with people that inspire you and make sure that they keep you positive and that you're not around negative Nancy's, then you can really, truly do anything you want to do.
Absolutely.
I believe that.
But you have to work harder than everyone else too.
You
Like,
do.
I think
You
it's just like you just work so freaking hard. And then just like love your people really, really well. Like, we have rules on the road where it's like literally if anyone comes in contact with anyone on my crew and that person does not leave going like, that was the nicest person I've ever met and they were so easy to work with, like, you're fired.
I love that.
Like, because I can't be like that. I can't be around people like that. It hurts
negative
my heart.
energy, it's like a disease.
And it's just like
Road
part
cancer.
of it. Yeah,
It
it's just
is.
like, and so, you know, this is why this has been so fun, because we get to be with our people and we love each other well, and we go out and love our people who come see us well, and it's just like
I
awesome.
know.
At the end of the day, you're all living your dreams and you're making it happen. You know,
Yeah.
through the ups and downs, the
Yeah.
good, the bad. It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
really inspiring, and it's super cool that y'all come together. I think that's a really unique thing
Thank
that y'all
you.
have band together and you're just making it happen.
Yeah.
So, you guys, thanks
you
for
so
joining my
much.
podcast. Ruthie Collins, Natalie Stovall, and Kelleigh Bannen. Okay.